Book of Heaven, Volume 13. 4th to the 12th of November 1921. Page 41 to 48. November 4, 1921. The reason why God used the word fiat in creation. Sanctity in the creature must be between her and Jesus. Jesus, giving his life and communicating his sanctity to her as her faithful companion. The creature, receiving it as his faithful and inseparable companion. I felt all identified with my sweet Jesus, and as he came, I flung myself into his arms, abandoning myself completely in him, as in my own center. I felt an irresistible force to remain in his arms, and my sweet Jesus told me, "My daughter, this is the creature searching for the womb of her Creator in order to rest in his arms. It is your duty to come into the arms of your Creator, to rest in that womb from which you came out." In fact, you must know that many electric wires of communication and union pass between creature and Creator, which render her almost inseparable from me, provided that she has not withdrawn from my will, because withdrawing is nothing other than snapping the wires of communication, and breaking the union. The life of the Creator, more than electricity, flows within the creature, and she flows within me. My life is spread within the creature. In creating her, I linked my wisdom to her intelligence, so that her intelligence might be nothing but the reflection on mine, and if man reaches such great extent with his science, as to seem incredible, it is because the reflection of mine is reflected in his. If his eye is animated by a light, it is nothing other than the reflection of my eternal light being reflected in his eye. Among ourselves, the three divine persons, we had no need to speak in order to understand one another. However, in the creation I wanted to use the word, so I said, "Fiat," and things were made. To this, fiat, I bound and gave the power that creatures might have the word in order to understand one another. Therefore, the human voices also are linked to my first word as though by an electric wire, and from it all other words descend. And as I created man, I breathed on him with my breath, infusing life in him. But in this life I infused in him, I placed my whole life, according to what human capacity was able to contain. But I placed everything in him. There was nothing of my own which I did not share with him. See, even his breath is the reflection of my breath with which I give him continuous life, while his breath is reflected in mine, and I feel it continuously within me. See then, how many relations there are between me and the creature. This is why I love her so much, because I look at her as a birth from me, exclusively mine. And then, how did I ennoble the will of man? I linked it with mine, giving it all my prerogatives. I made it free, just like mine, and if to the body I had given two little lights, limited and circumscribed, which started from my eternal light, the human will, I made all eyes. Therefore, as many acts as the human will forms, so many eyes can it claim to possess. It looks to the right, to the left, to the back and to the front, and if the human life is not animated by this will, it will do nothing good. In creating it, I said to it, "You will be my sister on earth, my will from heaven will animate yours, we will be in continuous reflections, and whatever I will do, you will do as well, I, by nature, and you, by the grace of my continuous reflections. I will follow you like a shadow. I will never leave you." My only purpose in creating the creature was that he would do my will in everything. But with this I wanted to bring to existence new births of myself. I wanted to make of him a prodigious portent, worthy of me and in everything similar to me. But, alas, the human will was going to be the first to put itself against me. Take a look. All things are done between two. You have eyes, but if you did not have an external light which illuminates you, you could see nothing. You have hands, but if you did not have the necessary things with which to do your works, you would do nothing, and so with all the rest. Now, this is how I want sanctity in the creature, between her and me, between the two of us. I, on one side, she, on the other. I, giving my own life and communicating my sanctity to her as her faithful companion. She, receiving it as my faithful and inseparable companion. In this way, she would be the eye that sees, and I the sun that gives her light, she the mouth, and I the word; she the hands, and I the one who administers the work to let her operate; she the foot, and I the step; she the heart, and I the heartbeat. But do you know who forms this sanctity? My will alone is that which maintains the purpose of creation in order. The sanctity in my will is that which maintains perfect balance between creatures and Creator. These are the true images which came out from me. November 8, 1921. To live in the divine will means to multiply the life of Jesus, with all the good it possesses. Jesus says to Luisa, "Blessed are you, and all generations will call you blessed." As I was in my usual state, my always lovable Jesus made himself seen while taking a light from my interior, and carrying it away. I shouted, "Jesus, what are you doing? Do you want to leave me in the dark?" And he, with all sweetness, told me, "My daughter, do not fear. I am taking your little light with me, and I leave you mine. This little light of yours is nothing other than your will which, having placed itself in front of mine, has received the reflection of my will. That's why it became a light. I am taking it in order to let it go around. I will take it to heaven as the most rare and beautiful thing, which is the human will that has received the reflection of the will of its Creator. I will let it wander among the divine persons, so that they may receive the homages and adorations of their own reflections, the only ones worthy of them. Then I will show it to all the saints, so that they too may receive the glory of the reflections of the divine will in the human will. And then, I will make it flow through the whole earth, so that all may take part in such a great good." Immediately, I added, "My love, forgive me. I thought you wanted to leave me in the dark. This is why I said, 'What are you doing?' But when it is about my will, feel free to take it and do whatever you want." Now, while Jesus was carrying this little light in his hands, I cannot say what happened. I lack the words to express myself. I just remember that he placed the little light in front of his person, and the little light received all his reflections, in such a way as to form another Jesus. And every time my will repeated its acts, so many Jesuses were multiplied. Then, my Jesus told me, "Do you see what it means to live in my will? It is to multiply my life as many times as one wants, and to repeat all the good which my life contains." Afterwards, I was saying to my Jesus, "My life, I enter into your will to be able to extend myself in everyone and to everything. From the first to the last thought, from the first to the last word, from the first to the last action and step that were done, are done, and will be done. I want to seal everything with your will, so that you may receive from everything the glory of your sanctity, of your love, of your power, and so that all that is human may remain covered, hidden, marked by your will. May nothing, nothing human remain, in which you do not receive divine glory." Now, while I was doing this and other things, my sweet Jesus came all festive, accompanied by innumerable blessed, and said, "The whole of creation says to me, 'My glory, my glory.'" And all the saints answered, "Here, O Lord, we give you divine glory for everything." I could hear an echo from all sides, saying, "For everything we give you love and glory." And Jesus added, "Blessed are you, and all generations will call you blessed. My arm will make works of power in you. You will be the divine reflection, and filling the whole earth, you will make me receive from all generations that glory which they deny to me." On hearing this, I remained confused, annihilated, and I did not want to write. And he, caressing me, told me, "No, no, you will do it, I want it. What I said will serve as honor of my will." I myself wanted to pay the just homage which befits the sanctity of my will. Rather, I said nothing compared to what I could say. November 12, 1921. The sanctity in the divine will has no boundaries. It is the sanctity closest to the Creator. It will have primacy over all other sanctities, and will be their life. The divine will is the eternal miracle that never ends. I write only to obey. Otherwise I would not be good at writing a single word. Only the fear that I might sadden my sweet Jesus, if I did not do it, gives me stamina and strength. Now, he continues to speak to me about his most holy will, and upon coming, he said to me, "My daughter, the sanctity in my will is not yet known." This is the reason for their surprise. In fact, when something has been known, the surprise ceases. All sanctities are symbolized by something which is spread in the creation. There are sanctities symbolized by mountains, others by trees, others by plants, the little flower, the stars, and many other similes. All of these sanctities have their own limited and individual good. They have their beginning and also their end. They cannot embrace everything and do good to all, just as a tree or a flower cannot do so. Now, the sanctity in my will be symbolized by the sun. The sun has always been, and will always be, and even though it had a beginning in illuminating the world, however, since it is light which takes origin from my eternal light, one can say that it has no beginning. The sun does good to all. It extends to all with its light. It makes no exception with anyone. With its majesty and dominion, it rules over all and gives life to all, even to the tiniest flower, but silently, without noise, and almost unobserved. Oh, if a plant did a little something, a shadow of what the sun does, giving heat to another plant, all would shout, "Miracle!" All would want to see it, and would speak about it with amazement. But then, the sun gives life and heat to everything and is the continuous miracle, and nobody talks about it. There is no amazement. This happens because man keeps his eyes always down below and toward earthly things, never up high and toward celestial things. Now, the sanctity in my will, symbolized by the sun, will come out from the center of my own sanctity. It will be a ray delivered by my sanctity, which has no beginning. Therefore, these souls existed in my sanctity, they exist, and will exist. They were together with me in the good I did. They never went out of the ray in which I had delivered them to the light. Since they never departed from my will, I amused myself with them, and I still do. My union with them is permanent. I see them floating over everything. Human supports do not exist for them, just as the sun does not lean on anything. It lives up high as though isolated, but with its light it encloses everything within itself. The same for these souls. They live up high like the sun, but their light descends to the lowest bottom and extends to all. I would feel as if I defrauded them if I did not keep them aware, and did not let them do what I do. Therefore, there is no good which does not descend from them. In this sanctity I see my shadows, my images, flying over the whole earth, in the air and in heaven. This is why I love and will love the world, because I am waiting for my sanctity to have its echo over the earth, and for my rays to come out to the light, giving me complete glory, returning to me the love and the honor which the others have not given to me. However, just like the sun, they will be the most unobserved, without clamor at all. And if anyone will want to look at them, my jealousy will be such that they will run the risk of remaining blinded, and will be forced to lower their eyes in order to regain their sight. Do you see how beautiful is the sanctity in my will? It is the sanctity closest to your Creator. This is why it will have primacy over all other sanctities. It will enclose within itself all other sanctities together, and will be life of all other sanctities. What a grace it is for you to know it. To be the first, like solar ray, to come out from the center of my sanctity, without ever detaching from it. Greater grace I could not give you, more portentous miracle I could not operate in you. Be attentive, my daughter, my ray, because every time you enter into my will and operate, it happens as when the sun hits the glass. Many suns are formed in it. In the same way, you repeat my life many times. You multiply it, and give new life to my love. After this, I was thinking to myself, in this holy will one cannot see miracles, and those portentous things for which creatures are so greedy, and would go around half the world in order to have some of them. On the contrary, everything passes between the soul and God, and if creatures receive good, they don't know where it came from. It really is like the sun which, while it gives life to all, nobody points out at it. Now, as I was thinking of this, Jesus, coming back, added, but with an imposing look, What miracles, what miracles? Isn't perhaps doing my will the greatest miracle? My will is eternal, and is the eternal miracle that never ends. It is the miracle of every instant in which the human will has a continuous connection with the divine will. Raising the dead, giving sight to the blind and the like, are not eternal things. They are subject to perish. They can be called shadows of miracles, fleeting miracles, compared to the great and permanent miracle of living in my will. You do not pay attention to those miracles. I know when they are appropriate and needed.